BXB. It's in the game!
Build your dungeon and defenses, and prepare for your destruction.
Well, thank you for the general encouragement there, dude. Hello and welcome to another BXB game review. My name is Cameron, and we're bringing you War for the Overworld. Now, it's been a little while, I admit. I've been away for quite a while. I've only just come back to the BXB scene, and what I've been given to start with is a tower defense game, essentially. Now, I tend to think that most tower defense games are usually the same basic structure, the same basic way of doing everything. It's the same. I usually get bored of them very quickly, but this one actually gave me a little bit of extra fun. I think it's maybe because I actually had the opportunity to actually build units as well. With most games you'll get given a map and then it just tells you what defences to put down, but in this sort of scenario you get to build yourself your own little base as well as your defences. The whole plot of the campaign is that you are a Dark Lord of the Underworld who had been locked away for centuries until they've only just revived you. Don't know how long that's taken, but it sounds like they should have, picked up some slack there. But they've chosen you to lead the new army into the Overworld so that you can, do the whole Dark Lord thing and rule it, I guess. And to do that, you're of course going to need an army, which are filled with troglodyte-looking characters, goblins, orcs, everything you'd expect to be in an army of darkness. So when you first start off in your base, you have to get your minion to start mining out room in your dungeon for everything that's going to build your army, from barracks all the way to a tavern, just so they can drink after a hard day's flogging. And that's where this game actually becomes a little bit more interesting. See, along with taverns and rest areas, you actually have to keep on top of your troops as well. Not only just general keeping them busy for all eternity, you actually have to keep in mind their happiness levels, and whether or not they're well rested enough for them to actually do the work. So you're building taverns to keep their mind off of the hardships that they suffer for being the minions of darkness. You build the bed area so they can actually get some rest. And at the end of a certain week period, they actually take money out of your hard-earned mining to actually pay your troops as well. I mean, honestly, what kind of Dark Lord are you? I mean, you can just control these troopers. You don't need to pay them. Jesus. And so when you've built up enough experience, you can then start spending some of those points on sins. Sins being the main power blocks of your characters. That'll unlock certain buildings, certain feats you can do, such as enraging certain creatures, which will make them faster and more powerful in battle. So unlocking a more advanced crypt that enables ghouls to rise from the dead, and more of them to rise in a faster period of time. Put all these things together, you got yourself a bona fide recipe for being a supreme Dark Lord, controlling an army of the Overworld and Underworld. As long as you've got yourself half a brain to think tactically, this game will be a doddle for you. I'm not saying that the game is completely easy or insanely hard. It's got a good difficulty level that takes a little bit of getting used to, but I will say it's a game that I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would for a tower defense game. The animation and art styles of the games is actually pretty decent. Some of the art for some of the creatures and characters you find on here actually look like something that might be off the back of a Magic the Gathering card. Quite well done. And the voiceover work isn't too bad either. I don't know if the guy was trying to emulate Christopher Lee, but I think he had a very commanding presence in his voice. So get yourself out there and put the Dark Lord of Mordor, Sauron, to shame. So thank you, War for the Overworld. You made an old cynic like myself enjoy a genre I didn't think I'd enjoy again. And for that, I'll give you a nice round 3 stars. Thank you everybody so much for watching again. My name has been Cameron, and this has been another BXB game review. If you want to read some more of our stuff, head on over to bxbgames.co.uk, and you can follow us on Twitter at BXBGames. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.